Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everybody, and Preacher Miles reporting to you from Los Angeles, California, right down the street from LAX. Hope that you're having a blessed day. Listen, we were not able to do the show last week, and I know you guys got a rerun, and it's okay. It was a good show that was pre-recorded. So the topic today, particularly being here in Los Angeles, home of Hollywood. The topic today is the short sale on reinvention. I'm going to ask in advance that you guys give me a little leeway, a little patience to begin to explain what's going on because it's actually all encompassing, and I don't want to give you too much of it. I tried to do this topic last week, and I just felt like it was a bit. It was an overload. Sometimes you can give out information to people, sharing information. Think you're doing a good thing, a charitable thing. You think you're being generous, and you just confuse people. So to not do that, spend a little bit more time on the topic, spend a little bit more time doing some research, putting my ducks in order, if you will, to be able to present a point and support my point as well. Again, this is the short sale on reinvention. Now, I would start by saying, here I am in Los Angeles. Reinvention has been an industry, whether it's taking the script that was done in the 40s, redoing it, remaking a classic, remaking music, trends, if you will, politics out here, if you will. The idea of reinvention is really the backbone of American society. We have been talking about things like rewriting history, things like that, but this is what Los Angeles is about. Presenting the dream to you, and having the dream be something that's framed around the realities that you're willing to put it around, right? So it's not as simple as, hey, look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. It's just that we have to realize that up in the sky, the bird, the plane, we have to imagine ourselves seeing Superman up in the air, right? And somehow lending ourselves, right? Lending ourselves to the fact that for that space, we can believe it can happen. Now, the danger is when you believe it can happen, when that's happened is that there's a baseline. You can say, okay, at this point in time, it's fiction. I pull myself back into nonfiction. This is life. Sadly, over the last, I want to say 10 years, 12 years of politics, we haven't been able to pull ourselves back from the fiction. And what happens is the fiction becomes reality. A term that was introduced into the American lexicon, fake news, was interesting because it juxtapositioned two things. It juxtaposition of fiction and a nonfiction. That news in and of itself was a narrative of truth, that it was something that if you ask the question over here, people have a consensus about what they saw, what they agreed upon, what they disagreed upon. And it gave it gave the framework for honest dialogue. We don't have that now. We are desperately grasping for those days, those woebegone days when people ask the question, people answer the question, and we were allowed to sit and debate and present our information, our data, our proof, our dalil, if you will, as whether something was not only good or bad, truthful or untruthful, but the value of it. And the value of it, most importantly, was tied to the character of the people who were saying these things. Today on the ShOUT show, I'm going to talk to you about the short sale of reinvention, which means that there are people who are predicting, there are people who are they're profiting, and people who are strategically aligning the idea that reinvention now doesn't matter. Reinvention, the aspect of it, the parameters of reinvention don't matter anymore. Well, I'm going to tell you why when we come back here on the show. Shout out, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back. Preacher Moss in LA. We'll be right back on the ShOUT show. Hey, we're back. I want to jump into our chat room. We want to shout out some shout out show regulars, and we're going to, of course, I'm going to get out on Instagram land. I want to give a shout out to Off Toff Rashid, my dear brother from Toronto, Ontario. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good brother, thank you so much. One of our day ones, we call him Mr. 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down. One of our day ones, our Canadian envoy to the shout out show. Thank you so much for attending. Want to give a shout out to Masjid Wazdeen. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullah barakatuh. Out of New Jersey, the Garden State. I want to give a shout out to all my family out there. It's been a while since I've been out there. My ma'am, I got to call and check on you. Always a loving situation when I go there, and I appreciate you guys tuning in on the show. Next up, my main man, Eric Carter from South Kakalaki. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good brother. Thank you so much for showing up. And I can tell you some people who are probably going to be on the way. One of it, my big brother Bilal Salahuddin and his queen, Sister Sonia Dalton Salahuddin, are on the show. One of our day ones. We appreciate you, Rock. Thank you so much. Much love and appreciation. And I know who's not on the show. I'm going to give a shout out. Sister Reed. Sister Reed is in Michigan with family, just filling up her soul with good experiences and good vibes. Sister Reed, you don't have to be on the show. We're going to shout you out. Peace and blessings to you and your family. Also, I want to give a shout out to my main man, JT. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wherever you are, thank you so much for supporting our show. Let's get into Instagram, man, because we got beautiful news, beautiful new African woman. New African woman. All right. Okay. I'm going to say that too. Thank you, sister. 042 Hassan and Nkirk 229 from Houston. What's going on? Permissible After, of course. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's Sister Satana Whitfield, our executive producer on the show. And we got Ali Bo join. I'm sorry if I killed your name, man. I can't lean all the way into the screen. My eyes are tired today, doggone it. My eyes are tired today. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys something. I need you to pay attention. It started out as a joke a couple some years ago, but sometimes when you tell a joke in the hopes that it just stays a joke, that it doesn't somehow meander to everybody's reality and the things that we're seeing today. So pay attention. I am in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a big place. It's an industry town. You know, Hollywood is an industry town. LA is an industry town. I am here to report to you that in LA right now, in Hollywood right now, there's no work. There's no work. Meaning, there's no profiteering to be had in the whole idea of fantasy, of narrative, of developing narrative. It doesn't have to be true. It just has to be interesting, has to be engaging, but it also has to be profitable. That's why we make it. That's why the movies are made. That's why the TV shows are made. That's why streaming is made. And now it has come to the point, brothers and sisters, where there's no work out here. I'm not talking about a strike or any kind of work stoppage. I'm talking that critical mass has brought two things together, which is reality and fiction. Reality and fiction have been brought together. And at this particular point in time, there's no marketplace for it. Good writers, dynamic comedians, speakers, all of a sudden they find themselves out of work. Why? The reason they find themselves out of work is because the modality that they work with was flawed. And when I say flawed, what I mean is it's only a certain amount of time that something is going to happen or it's going to be productive before it runs its course. At the very same time, there's something else that's run its course. In America, that thing is democracy. You will begin to see more and more whereby the experiment of democracy has run its course. That for those who didn't benefit from democracy, you will say, see, then we already knew that the system didn't work. But it's at a point now where the system doesn't work for the people who have benefited from it for a very long time. And now they're beginning to see the proof in the pudding, if you will. They are not the people who are, quote unquote, know how to get it from the mud. You know who those people are, who know how to get it from the mud. What I'm talking about is a new class of people who now have to find themselves. And a short sale means that there's a prediction. We will short the sale, we will reduce the price whereby we buy low and we sell high because reinvention is in crisis. You now have a situation out here in Hollywood where you can have your dreams, be an actress, a funny comedian, but doggone it, you better have a full-time job while you're doing it. Doggone it, you better have a side hustle. And on top of that side hustle, you better have another side hustle. And beside that side hustle, have another side hustle. Because reinvention is not from the shaitan. Reinvention is from the nafs. Reinvention is from an ill alignment of the soul, whereby for me to have something, I have to take it from somebody else. Now, this is the big picture. Stick with me. Reinvention in America meant that we had to take somebody's reality and treat it as if it were trivial. Take somebody's pain and treat it as if it was an act. Take somebody's misery and oppression and frame it as they're just playing. It's just pretend. When in fact, these things are real. When in fact, when you turn on television now, this is the epitome of there's no reinvention anymore. Meaning that the pain and misery that you see, it can't be sanitized. It can't be edited. Here's the thing. It can't be overlooked, number one. And in the deepest thing, it can't be explained. How human behavior has become this thing. Now, see, in Hollywood, it's interesting because Hollywood went through a thing whereby the studios back in the day would tell you, what kind of cigarettes to smoke, what kind of car to drive, what kind of music to listen to. But streaming came along and streaming liberated those ideas from the big studios. It liberated ideas from ABC and NBC and CBS. And it created all of these children, if you will. These children of reinvention. And these children of reinvention did not know the rules. They didn't respect the sources. When you watch news today, news is different because news doesn't have rules. The companies like CNN are barely holding on. PBS, public television, is under attack. PBS is the most unbiased reporting that you can find, but you find it under attack. And the people who do not report the news but slant the news, who particularly weigh the news to get a result, these are the folks that are filling in the space. I thought about this when I was flying to Los Angeles this morning, that in LA, in Hollywood, they never had a definitive leader. They've never had a definitive leader. Let me say that even more. They never had a well-positioned spiritual core. And when you get out here, people have lost their minds. Not all of them, but a lot of people have lost their minds. And the way they're able to do it is that there's a comfort zone with losing your mind. I didn't say safe space. I said a comfort zone with losing your mind. The largest homeless population in the United States is here in Los Angeles. And a lot of people say, it's the weather, year-round good weather, and I agree with that. But it was also the fact that people fashioned a way to talk about the homeless or the unhoused and put it in a space whereby we can reimagine it. We can reinvent that. See, words like homeless to unhoused, dead, killed to unlived. You see what I'm saying? The use of pronouns, for me, I can't say my name is Preacher Moss. I gotta say he, him. Where does this come from? It comes from the toxicity that's rolled up in this whole thing of people thinking that they can reinvent themselves. Let me ask you a question. Say if I had some biscuits. I had some biscuits. I baked 4 biscuits. They come out really well. I put butter on them, put honey on them. 4 biscuits. I eat 1 biscuit. How many biscuits do I have left? I got 3 biscuits. Here's the short sell. You really have 4 biscuits. We just don't see it. No, you don't want to see that 4th biscuit. I ate it. You got 3 biscuits. But then somebody goes, it's not really 3 biscuits. If you look at the content of the biscuits and you put it in a loaf of bread, now you don't have biscuits anymore. It's a loaf of bread. Everybody knows that you can't go from biscuits to a loaf of bread. Satan, is that right? You can't go from biscuits to a loaf of bread. Once they're biscuits, they're biscuits. But when we talk about this era, when we talk about the place and times that we find ourselves in, people are having those kind of conversations. You may have an entire community of people, believers, who will be out on an island away from society based upon the fact that their orientation says, look at things in its most basic format. Look at things in the way that God puts it. Look at things where it has high character and high value. Look at things that are not being manipulated. And if you put them in a space where everything has been manipulated, it stands out. The comparisons, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. All that can happen is contrast. All that can happen is the uncomfortability that comes with the fact that people are living, I don't want to say this, people are living very delicate, intricate lives. And now there's no value in the lie. There's no value in the reinvention. Unemployment out here is high. Are you going to tell me through reinvention unemployment is fruitful? This is a place that for years, and I'm only talking about Hollywood. You can apply it to modern day politics. You can apply it to religion. You can apply it to a lot of things, personal relationships. But my point, what I'm saying is the danger is that this has become a normal thing. This has become a tool to not deal with the fact that normalcy requires effort. Truth, maintaining truth requires a fight, right? Togetherness, caring, mercy, grace, they require a particular type of action, and that action is not reinvention. Let me think. Let me throw this out here. I spent the last year watching something I think is very dangerous. I've watched profound, thought-provoking thought leaders be replaced by social influencers. That the click and the like replace the learn it. That the subscribe replaces the scholarly work. Like I said, that the likes replace the learn it. The likes replace the labor. The likes, if you will, replace, think about it, listening. And in this space, it has become commoditization. I've said this before, in a digital economy, and I mean this, and I hold my feet to the fire because I haven't always done it, but a digital economy requires 5 things if you're producing IP and content. What are the 5 things? Pitching, pitching, publishing, politicizing, profile, and partnerships. What happens if you can't engage in a good partnership? What happens is everybody knows what your profile is. What happens when you pitch? People don't want to listen to you. What happens when you publish? People don't want to read you. They don't want to. They don't want to read you. They don't want to watch you. It comes down to this right now. In California, they have the race, political races for mayor, political races for governor. It's quiet in LA. It's quiet in LA because the people have capitulated to the fact that we don't know who these folks are. That every 4 years, these people just pop up and we're supposed to make a judgment. And these people know that we're not watching them 3 years or 4 years because they run for political office. Because the here and now is all we understand. The here and now is all we're going to value. And that gets to the point about short seller reinvention. That people now understand in the scope that I can change the narrative on the cheaps. I can be caught lying on a narrative, and there's so much lying on narratives that I may not be prosecuted. I may not be taken to task. That in the old days when somebody slandered you and it was libel, it meant something. It was a call to action to clean up what was being said in the news, in the media, and journalism. It was a call to action. I wanted correction. And now we don't get correction. We don't get correction. We get coercion. We get people telling us, you better not say that. We get people who are framed, for lack of a better word, we get people who are framed to tell you, yes, you're right, but you can't be right in a public forum. These are the days of Martin Luther King. These are the days of Malcolm X, when they espoused to the world the things that were correct, but the world said, we have enough here. We know you're right, but we have enough here to continue doing wrong. That we know the law, but we will continue to engage in criminality because criminality gives us pause. Criminality gives us an opportunity and the law. If you think it's wrong or illegal, go make a law about it. But that law may take you 10 to 15 years to get passed, which means I can continue doing what I'm doing. And in this space in LA, see, I came here in 1997. Shout out to Moses the Comic, Omar Regan, Yasmin Al-Hadi, Nadir Pierre, Black Mike, a couple other people, Usman Habib. We're all going to be doing a show at the Famous Laugh Factory in West Hollywood tomorrow. And I'll give you some interesting thoughts on that before I close. You know, the Laugh Factory hasn't moved. The Improv down the street has never moved. It's never had to. Because Hollywood is giving it a space to turn out narratives every day. Every comedian that goes up on the stage is selling a narrative. Whether the club owners like it, whether the managers like it, whether the agents like it, that's not the point. It's created a surplus. And for so many years, you could pull from that surplus. It's just like acting. There were so many good scripts out here that you pull from that surplus. But I would present to you that the ultimate short sale, something you cannot reinvent, is the law's will. It's God's truth. It's divine placement. You know, we talk about, religious folks, we talk about Judgment Day. I would assert that Judgment Day has happened right here in LA. that with this missing of work, that there's no work, there's a denial, if you will, for reinvention. There's no space to change who you are. That judgment day is here. That this place that's created all kind of memories and fantasies, this is the dream factory of the world, all of a sudden finds this place looking like the homeless person, the unhoused, who doesn't say I'm unhoused, they say I am homeless, which brings in all the characteristics. And this is why I don't like to use unhoused. See, when you bring in homeless, you bring in accountability. When you talk about homeless, there is a narrative there that people began here and ended here. And folks, brothers and sisters, they watch the demise of folks. They watch people, become homeless. They watch people suffer and struggle. We watch it internationally when we watch, how the Ebola virus outbreak in the Congo is happening. We watched it during the pandemic. We watch it in Gaza all the time. We watch it in Iran. We watch it in Lebanon. Why? Because the people who were the thought leaders have been moved out. And we got a bunch of people who the social influence, and they can't influence anything. And now we have to do the heavy lifting minus those thought leaders, minus those scholars, minus the intellectual brilliance that's been around for so many years, because we've given it away. We've let people reinvent those people. We've let those people be reinvented as unpatriotic, reinvented as those folks are woke. Those folks are far left. Those folks are far right. It's far right, far left, the middle way. The radical middle way is the thing that's missing out. So we got a little bit of time. I just want to review. I talked about LA right now. I said LA, there's no work out in LA, which means that the ability to reinvent has come to a standstill. The marketplace for retreads is dissipated. Who you are right now is who you are. You can't afford to change who you are. And even if you did, you can't afford to get everyone else to see you differently. And that politics, if you will, that politics that has long been out here in California and has permeated throughout the world, all of a sudden finds itself not being able to pitch, not being able to publish. Nobody wants your product. We don't care about your profile. And I definitely don't want to be partnered with you. Beginning to think about these things is really, really important. Why do I say that? Because community still matters. And in this pause and this breakdown of the inability to reinvent yourself, there is a space for people who never had to reinvent themselves. And those are the people who are going to lead us moving forward. Okay, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. Inshallah, I'll see you next week. Take care. Peace from Los Angeles, California. Assalamu alaikum.